Chapter 19. The next day, a new branch was opened in Longbourn. Collins said this when he decided to take up the job as soon as possible, as his career will end next Saturday, and there was no doubt about it. Now that he is well prepared, all the meetings, he thinks, are always part of the business. Seeing Bennet's wife Elizabeth and one of the girls eating breakfast, he told his mother, "I hope, Grandpa, in your interest and that of your beautiful daughter Elizabeth, that I will ask for respect from the audience this morning." Before Elizabeth's surprise, Miss Bennet, "Sorry," called Elizabeth. "Sure, I hope Lizzie is happy. I know she won't argue. Come on, Kitty, I want you to stand up. When she's working, she's confused," and called to Elizabeth. "Woman, do not go. Please do not go. I have to forgive Mr. Collins. There is nothing for you to say that no one wants to hear. I go alone." No, you're making excuses, Lizzie. I want you to be in your place." As for Elizabeth's true personality, and her angry and embarrassed face about the deportation, she said, "Lizzie, please always listen to Mr. Collins." Elizabeth did not defy the order. She thought for a moment that she knew she had better come back soon, so she kept quiet and tried to hide. Then, in another sense, between pressure and variability, Mrs. Bennet and Kitty left, and at the end of the trip, Mr. All-Online Apps. "I believe, Mrs. Elizabeth, that your situation, far from despicable, can add to your life. You will not please my eyes unless you have a little satisfaction, but I can guarantee there is permission from your famous mother to deal with it. You doubt the true purpose of my speech, but your natural sense will be fulfilled. Looks great, because there is nothing wrong with this. When I got home, I chose him to be my future friend. But before I get too old, I want to explain why I got married, and, most importantly, went to Hertfordshire with the intention of marrying a woman just like me." Bamboo. Collins moved calmly. With his emotions, made Elizabeth laugh, so that he would not take advantage of the rest that would allow him to stop her, and she continued, "My justification for marriage is that I, in the first instance, believe that it is right for every religious leader, like me, to imitate a parish marriage. Second, I know that it will add to my happiness, and thirdly, I would have said earlier, if the advice of a suitable woman respects the calling of the manager. Twice he humbly gives me his thoughts, not talking to her, about this, and it was Saturday night before I left Hunsford, in the middle of our quadrille lakes, where Mrs. Jenkinson was preparing for Mr. Berg's chair, when he said, 'Mr. Collins, you should get married. Ministers like you should get married. To choose me right, you choose me a humble wife. You, too, make him work hard, not succeed, and be able to make a small salary in the right way. Here is my advice. Quickly find a girl like this. Take her to Hunsford. I'll visit her. Now, let me, on the one hand, think of my true nephew, but I do not regard her as one of the least sources I see of the acceptance and kindness of Lady Catherine de Bourgh. You will understand more than I said what he did, and your mind and your life, I think, should be recognised, especially when it comes to achieving peace and respect, which is a job that pleases you. Now, mostly because of my common goal of supporting marriage, it seems that my eyes are more focused on Longbourn than on my home, where I can make sure that most women are beautiful. But the truth is, like me, the owner, after the death of your famous father, but can live for many years, I will not settle unless he decides to choose a wife for his daughters, so the loss is small. If the job is disappointing, however, as I said, it may not be so for many years. Therefore, my nephew, and I will boast of you, will not come to you. And now for me, there is nothing left in the language of travel, especially relying on the severity of my love. Unfortunately, I am not paying attention, and I will not question your father, for I am well aware that he will not be fulfilled, well, even a penny until your mother dies. So I just calmed down, and you can be sure that a lasting apology will not take away my word when we get married. He must stop now. You are in a hurry, he shouted. Be careful with that time. Let me do it without wasting time. Thank you for the advice you gave me. I understand the importance of your advice, but it is impossible to do without you. He refuses. I haven't read it here, Mr. replied. Collins shook his hand. It's not uncommon for young women to talk to a man who wants to keep it a secret and ask him to be nice. Sometimes they reject him a second or third time. That's why I would be weak in any way, you say, and I hope to bring it to the pulpit in time. My words, sir, lamented Elizabeth. You have a good wish with what I have said. I can assure you that I am not one of those girls, if there are any girls, who have the courage to threaten their happiness by asking again. I totally agree. You didn't like me, and I'm sure I'm the last woman in the world to make you what you are. No, whether I meet Lady Catherine's friends or not, I am sure she will find me in any situation. Well, if Lady Catherine thinks about it, he said. Collins is very angry. But I don't think a girl will agree with you. And you can be sure that I will say in a polite call that I will honour you, your wealth, and the other titles you want. Actually, Mr. Collins, not all my compliments are necessary. You have to trust me and evaluate yourself, and praise yourself for what you have said. I ask you to be happy and rich, and try to push your hand without hurting yourself. Then you should be content with how you feel with my family. And when you fall, you can pass through Longbourn without looking at yourself. This article seems to be your last chance. You will leave the room, mister. If I get a chance to talk to you about it in the future, I'll hope I'll give you a better answer than you gave me here. Yet I do not blame you for the pain now, for I know it is your sexual practice to say no when you first ask for it. And as you say a lot to tighten my suit, as it may be accompanied by true female happiness. Really, Bay Collins, she whispered lovingly to Elizabeth. She surrounded me. What has been said so far is reflected in my encouraging way. I don't know how to explain it in a way that will lead you to believe that my rejection is won. You must let me, my cousin, shake my head and kick my address, just in words. The reasons, I believe, are this. It seems like my hands don't match, or the organisation I can offer isn't what I expect. The state of my life, Berg, and your relationship is very helpful to me. And you should know that, apart from your great attraction, you are absolutely not sure that you will have another wedding. Sharing happiness is so limited that it takes away your joy and confidence. That's why I have to decide that you don't love me. That is my desire to love the establishment, according to the general tradition of beautiful women. I assure you, sir, that I know nothing at all about this beauty abused by an honest man. I want to thank them for their sincere trust in me. Many times I thank you for the respect you have shown me in your thoughts, but it is impossible to accept it. My opinion on any purpose is to exclude you. Can I speak more easily? Don't judge me as a beautiful woman with the intention of harming me, but as a wise man who speaks the truth from his heart. Neatly dressed, he exclaimed, with a very strong spirit. I believe that with the special power of you all good parents, my opinion will not be accepted. In an attempt to deceive himself, Elizabeth could not answer, and he just turned around and remained silent. He is determined, if he continues to reject her and becomes a legitimate incentive, to register his father, who can benefit him out of confidence, and will not tolerate his wrongdoing in seducing and associating beautiful women. Until next week.
Ever. Right, okay, we're ready.
Yeah, you sound it.
A good yawn.
So enthusiastic.
Oh, he's starting me off now. Oh.
Well, you're going to wake half an hour.
Yeah. Right, chapter 19.
19, yes.
Only another 42 to go. Oh,
Don't
shush.
say that. Don't say that.
He told his mother. Okay. Collins can tell his mother. Let me. Yes, Mr. Collins is still waffling. Sorry. Let me, on the one hand, reply, even though it's a he. What the hell?
Woke up.
Huh?
Woke up.
Yes, she finally woke up to say, "You are in a hurry." And then Elizabeth is apparently replying, although actually what it says is she whispered lovingly to Elizabeth. But